Ooga chaka, ooga. Okay, sorry. We're talking about Guardians 2 because again, my boys at the Escape podcast, I think they put it on the bottom of their Marvel MCU list. This is crazy. I know we talk about MCU a lot, but having Guardians 2 as your bottom, that's nuts. And I hate to say it. Actually, I'm not going to say it. I'll reveal it for one day, but I think Guardians 2 is a really good movie. But let's start off hearing what they got to say, and then I'll chime in.
Guardians 2 is the worst MCU movie. It's a disaster.
You think
Ragnarok and Homecoming are both top 10 for me, so I agree with you there, but Guardians 2 is the worst MCU movie. It's
Get me out of here! James Gunn, cook for that trilogy!
Starts off with, I think, the biggest thing. People, for some reason, now turn on James Gunn. I know he had a past, and they try to call him a pedo and stuff like that. I don't know. It was some weird tweets, I guess. I remember looking at it a long time ago. But it didn't stop them from using them to make all kinds of stuff afterwards. Apparently, he's still making it. Bryan Singer did some bad things, and he's gone. And you don't see him making movies anymore. Same with Kevin Spacey. He's gone. You don't see him making movies anymore. They're blacklisted. But James Gunn isn't. And I think the biggest thing that comes out of this is James Gunn tries too hard to make everything funny. And my point is, it's not all the way funny. It's a story, and it's a good story. So let's talk a little bit. Actually, I'll let him talk a little bit more, then we'll talk.
Trilogy, you guys hate Guardians?
He cooked in the first one and the third one, not the second one.
I am of the opinion
it's so unfunny.
Ego? Or
Ego's fine. It's just so unfunny.
I think
so. Again, the argument sometimes is they tried too hard. I think they said that with Love and Thunder, which was Love and Thunder. Yeah, I didn't care for Love and Thunder. That's probably one of my bottom of the barrel MCU movies. Some movies that I don't like a lot, they have something in it that made me really redeem it. I won't get to Love and Thunder, but I'll say that for another time. But for them putting this on the bottom, okay, so they're saying it's not funny enough. I get it. This is one of probably the most emotional Guardians out of all three. And people are going to argue. Number one, I'll tell you this. I have cried at every Guardians of the Galaxy movie. And I am proud to tell you that. I have cried. They have hurt me in good ways and bad ways. Oh man, they move me. They touch me, not in a bad way, but they touch me in such a touching way that I can't deny it. But you're going to argue and be like, no, number 3 has the most emotions going on. Because Rocket's going through what he's going through. Killer story. Not taken away from that. No, it's number 1 because Star-Lord is going through so much. We see so much of his flashbacks with his mom, and he gets this group of people, and he's trying to bond with them, and it's very emotional, and it's like, I get it. But it's awesome, but it's not going to be as good as number 2 emotionally. Emotionally with number 2, Peter finally meets Ego. You don't know your dad your whole life, and then we get this kind of tease in the first one, like, yeah, his dad was a real asshole or a real jerk or something like that, and we get the idea that who his dad was and what he did. Ego was discovered being the murderer of his mother, and that is huge. That's such a huge thing, and that's so traumatic. So much drama for like a light, supposed to be, funny Guardians movie. And the whole time a lot of people were pointing at Yondu being his father, and there were some people skeptical, some people did, some people didn't. And this is like Yondu's movie, to be real with you. If you watch it and think about Yondu in the movie, it's pretty much Yondu movie. But we have Nebula finally telling Gamora she was never happy under Thanos' shadow, and we finally get them breaking a little bit their breaking point. And then Rocket, man, oh my God, Rocket, he sees so much in Yondu of him, and it's killing him. He's like, people don't like him. People don't like you, Yondu. Does that mean people don't like me? And then he gets to the point where he's like, I don't care, whatever. We're not alike, And there's this drama with it, and then also him being basically a father now because he has baby Groot that he's always worried about, and he's always trying to do the best thing for him, and he looks out for him, and it's a new dynamic with baby Groot, and I hate it because it turns into possibly they made it just to make some sales, sell some things to kids, because it turned into baby Groot all over, or baby Yoda. We call him Grogu now. He's Grogu. But it actually worked. We didn't keep it milking it. They did make a little mini series of it, and they were really small. But after that, he was changed in 3 and, other things in the Christmas story or the Christmas episode. But overall, we had Baby Groot, and he had his own spot in it. But Yondu's story is just crazy. I mean, honestly, like I said, it's like the line he delivers. man, he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. That scene, man, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Like, Star-Lord's losing his real father that raised him. And we saw a side of Yondu that wasn't this tough. I don't give a crap about you. I almost fed you to blah, blah, blah. This man actually cared deeply about Peter. And we saw him in his final moments, and Peter screaming for him while he had to watch him float away, getting crystallized with the sky or whatever. And it's just it goes up there with one of the most memorable moments, I think, in MCU. That tear jerking moment. That what touched you in a movie in MCU? What made you feel emotion? Not happy emotion. There's a lot of happy emotions, but what was sad in MCU movie? There's a lot of things you could go to, but I will tell you, I might get flack for it, that Yondu's death scene was stronger than Aunt May's death scene in Spider-Man. I think the scene after is strong, where he's talking to the other Spider-Man, but it's kind of weird because they're already related to him and he never met them. So that always kind of blew me out, but I still love the movie to death. But it was like, he didn't go, what are you guys doing? Who are they? Why'd you guys bring them? My aunt died. But when they start talking a little bit, that gets a little heart-wrenching, especially Garfield, man, talking about Gwen, and you feel so bad for Garfield. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about emotional impacts and how much the death of Yondu just is up there for one of the most emotional, sad scenes in the MCU. I'm sorry, you could go and look at other things, but I it's crazy. And then he was rejected so much by the Ravagers, and at the end, oh man, it gets me right now. They all show up for his funeral, and over the track too. Oh man, what's his name? Cat Stevens, I believe. God, Baby Groot hugging on Drax, and oh man, and Rocket seeing all the fireworks, and we see every older Guardian, giving a salute to him. Oh man, it gets me just thinking about it. How do you not like this movie? It's such a cool moment, and it shows even how bad you are, how bad you look. There was good in you, and you did good for people. And Rocket, at that moment, he says they came. And Star-Lord's like, he sees him and he's kind of like, oh shit. Like, Rocket's like relating this to him. And he kind of gives a glance and he looks back and he's like, why wouldn't they come? And then Rocket just looks out at the fireworks, and then you see a tear going down his face. Oh man. It gets me. It's just strong. Like I said, it's kind of a Yondu story if you really want to look at it. It's very, very. Them looking for comedy, I guess, on this one. I could throw out comedy, but in there. But the biggest thing is that Yondu story is the big story. But then we go to the villains. Marvel always messes up with the villains. Did they mess up with Ego? No, I don't think they did. I think Ego did his part. Not only do we get a great actor like we normally do, and they just screw it up. Ego was we talk about Killmonger, Thanos, Loki above them all, but I mean, he's not conquering Earth as a villain. He's celestial. It's the big book we opened up in the world of MCU was Celestials, and our first step basically was Star-Lord being possibly one, and it was hinted, but we never got guarantee, and now we learn, and it was Peter's father. He manipulated Peter, and then he killed his mom, and it became real personal. It became this real personal story of you finally find your dad, and then he's a kook, dude, and he brings himself. And I was like, how are you gonna make Ego, the living planet? I see him in comics, see him in Silver Surfer and stuff. A person. That doesn't make any sense. But then you realize that he manifests himself in this way. And when they fight Ego at the end, it's like the planet's fighting back against them. And actually, it could be looked at weird and funky, but that's Guardians. It's weird and funky. That's how it is. And it just worked. And I think he did the job as a villain. He wanted more than just Earth. He wanted to find the prime partner, another Celestial, to help him conquer. Why did he need another one? I don't know. Maybe make him stronger or what. But he was like selfish enough to go around planting his seed everywhere. Giggity. If that was going to help him, and then we learn he disposes all the children. We see the bones and all that stuff. That's horrible. And if that doesn't make you go like, man, this villain is not cool. Ego gets slept on as a villain. Like, that's pretty. He's a good actor, good acting for it. His motives are crazy, and what he does with it is nuts. That is nuts. And then we learn through also like Mantis in the Christmas episode that she was one of the persons that wasn't a Celestial, but he must have kept her because she could do whatever she did. There was reasons why she kept her. We don't know. But it became he's the one that, she's in touch with motion, so she can make him sleep. He has trouble sleeping, and I assume because in human form, it's different when you're a planet trying to sleep or whatever. There's no resting, or there is a rest. Who knows? But it was different, and they realized later on they were family, and Ego started all of this. And I think the bigger picture is this is the Guardians we see as a family. This is a lot of people that compare Avengers 1 to Avengers 2. Avengers 1, we see them together, coming together finally for the first time. Avengers 2, we get the Avengers. They're the Avengers through the whole thing. That's the only time we get to really see them as the Avengers. Civil War, they're broken up. Infinity War, they're kind of together, but a lot's going on. A lot of people are split up. A lot of people are not there. Just a lot's going on. And then in game we get a whole fest of everything at the end. But we're not really getting the Avengers working together on a mission or anything like that. Ultron did that, and we got to finally see them as the Avengers. They were an Avenger movie, Avengers. And then with Guardians 2, they were Guardians now. It wasn't this team getting together. They were a family. All these people, even like Drax, who lost his family, he felt something. No matter, I mean, people could criticize how they did Drax or whatever, because in the comics Drax is way different. Actually, Drax was really dumb in the beginning. He was a certain way. Then I remember during the Infinity Gauntlet, or when that happened, they gave him a gym, one of the gyms, to help him become smarter because he was dumb. But then they rebooted him in a way where he became this, monstrous guy that he looks now. I'm pretty sure his origin still was always he was created to kill Thanos. I don't think it dealt with his family. You could fact check me on that. I think he was just created for that. But the way they did it like this, it was a little bit cooler. And they made him kind of the too serious of a guy that kind of made it humorous. So as we were laughing, because we were outside, we were getting the jokes. He didn't understand why we were laughing. And that wasn't to be cruel. It's just he's too serious. He's there. And so it worked. It wasn't degrading him. It wasn't saying, oh, he's so stupid. We all think he's stupid, but that's just how he is. He's not being stupid. He thinks what he's doing is normal, And then the humor criticism, I mean, it's fair. These guys said there wasn't enough. I think there was a lot of humor, a ton of humor in it. A lot of good scenes, a lot of good quips. Baby Groot trying to find Yondu's fin, that killed me. That was a good scene. But there's just a lot of quick things, always little quick quips with the Guardians. They have really good. They always somehow know how to do things, and some people complain that they don't take it serious enough. I mean, calling the guy Taserface is hilarious. Making fun of the fact he's Taserface is hilarious. But does that take away from Yondu's death? No, it doesn't. So for people that think it's too much in there, it doesn't take away. It makes you think, oh yeah, I don't remember Yondu anymore. It doesn't do that. And as far as the comedy goes, it works as well. Even when Rocket sets up his booby traps and stuff, and he's making them bounce up and down. Oh my god, showing Rocket's side of being a technician like he is, like what he does, and we see that in 3 as well, how he fixes things. So cool when he sets up a whole trap by himself. To take out the Ravengers and all that, even though it doesn't work, but still, very, very cool. But it was just very, I feel, important to the MCU. The Celestial heritage played a huge part. Nebula and Gamora played a huge part, far as connecting and going forward into Endgame. That was nuts. And then going into Infinity War, connecting over, and then going to Guardians 3, such a dynamic shift between the two. I just think it was insanely good, insanely done right. And especially by Infinity War, they're a true team that loves each other, a family, but they're also a straight up team. Finding Thor and all that kind of stuff. So I think they did have a good setup as far as MCU goes. But it's just there's just so many good things. I think that I don't get how you could put it on the bottom. We'll hear a little bit more out, so I can get out of here.
I think I have a very similar problem with Ragnarok that I have with Guardians 2 is they were trying too hard to be funny, and I didn't find it funny. Now I would like to rewatch Guardians 2 because I think there's good in Guardians 2, like Yondu and Rocket, Yondu sacrifice. I think the moment between Rocket and Drax and Mantis can be good. I think Star-Lord and Ego is good. I think the soundtrack is good.
For me, you just listed a bunch of things I listed off, and you're saying it's one of the worst ones. Now, Hawkeye, not so much. He already said me and him think it's on our bottom, is what he said. And we got the other fella, I gotta learn these guys' names, saying all these things that are, why does that make it on the bottom of the list? These are all good things. The sacrificing, Rocket, Yondu, all these little things, it worked. It made sense. And it told a very, very good story. Ego, he mentions as well. And that's a really well done villain. Marvel, hey, you did it. Marvel has problems with villains. Remember Ronan from the first one? Not done that well. The Accuser, that dude was a beast in the comics, and they used him just as a Thanos lackey. And to be honest, I think he should have been saved for Captain Marvel. People still wouldn't like Captain Marvel, of course. That's a whole other discussion. But I think they could have had a weak villain in the first one, and we would still enjoyed it because how good the heroes were. Ronan was barely used in the movie. It's whatever, but the second one we actually got it right. We got Ego right. They changed a planet into a villain, and it worked. I think it's very creative. I think it's smart. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they did. And not only was it able to be pulled off, it was actually really good. It was a really good villain and gave a lot of motives to his story and motive to Peter's story. And the fight at the end's pretty freaking cool when they're fighting through and he becomes Pac-Man. And when they're trying to fuse the bomb, he's trying to tell Groot what button to push, what not to push.
I have a problem with Baby Groot, so I think I need to rewatch it. I just remember
Sounds like you don't not like it.
I just remember watching
there
it and rolling my
There are way
eyes.
worse movies in the MCU.
Okay, first thing I'm gonna point out, they put on the screen Ant-Man and Wasp, I believe. Is that? It might be 3. If it's Ant-Man 3, 100% agree. Ant-Man 3 is pretty garbage. On the right, Dark World. I've been hearing people lately argue for it a little bit. But not the greatest. Captain Marvel in the middle. I've already made a video why everyone hates it and why I like it. And I can do the same thing and point out all these things. Again, you don't have to sit there and you can tell me you don't like it. That's cool. But for you to either hate it or think it's on the bottom of the barrel of a bunch of things, there's do you watch movies? Do you watch movies? Do you know what a good and bad movie are? You can say movies meh and I'll understand. I get that. When you say meh, if you said Captain Marvel's meh, I'd understand that. I get that. But to sit there and be like, this is the worst thing I've ever saw in my life, I'm like, what? Huh? And I go for ranking from the MCU movies, just what's the bottom to the top. I don't think Captain Marvel belongs there or near the bottom. No, neither does Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Those other two maybe so, but not those two.
Yeah, but I rolled my eyes too much at Guardians to put it higher.
Wow, that's one of my...
I don't get it. What are you rolling your eyes at? What was in it so much that you were like, oh, this again? Like, oh, I can't believe this. Oh, this is weird. You're watching the Guardians, first of all. What, the deaths? Oh, too much death. Funny? Oh, too much funny. Oh, too much caring. Oh, too much family. They're doing too much action sometimes. Sometimes they're doing too much drama. They're doing too much feeling. I think I just pointed out everything that makes a goddamn story. More so than probably Star Wars. Probably, I don't want to get Star Wars fans mad at me, but I'm sorry. They don't fill out a lot of those, check those marks. There's not parts of Star Wars that are really funny. There's a lot of good drama. There's some action and adventure. But with this was Marvel Star Wars, and I think they might have done it better. You can be mad at me. Come at me. There was a lot of things that we took away from this. All right, Yondu, Rocket crying, Nebula's story, Peter losing his parents, just a lot of things. When it all comes down to it, a lot is going for it, and I can't imagine these group of people, or not the young lady in the middle, of course, because she thinks they're mad. She thinks they're insane. But I think overall, I can't hear an argument of why it's bad. You can even say the soundtrack's amazing, and I'm like, how does that make it so bad? Like, you can hate it and be like, bad, but the music's so good. And it's like, well, that means it's not the worst thing ever. I guess there's something you liked out of it, but there's so much more. And I really want to hear Hawkeye's take, what he hated about it. At least when he talked about the Moon Knight TV show, he at least like gave some info about like what wasn't good, and I was able to rebuttal back with what I can say on their behalf. But far as like Guardians, he doesn't give much. But other dudes just like, yeah, this was fine, this was fine, this was fine, and I'm like, huh? And let's not forget, all right, probably one of the coolest scenes in Superman 2025 was Mr. Terrific killing everybody with all his little, I forgot what they're called. They're his little terrific balls, I forgot what they're called. That's very much so like Yondu killing everyone with his arrow when he got his fin back. That scene is so dope. Probably one of my favorite scenes in the movie, action-wise. Him and Rocket, and I said, come a little bit closer. I think it's that song. And Rocket's like, hey, does Peter have his songs on here? And they kick it, and they're just walking through, and he's just like, and it's going through everybody. And I love how Yondu uses that. And I do like how they changed Yondu from the comics. They made him a really rugged, way different type of character. And again, if you're diehard Yondu comic fan, you probably aren't happy, but I think they made him right for the movie. He's Roker, oh man, just kills it. But that scene, that action scene, it's so good. And one of the coolest parts is when they get into the middle and they have all the cameras. So now they could just look at the cameras and start shooting the arrow around, and Rocket could pull out his guns and start shooting holes through everything. Oh man, that's just giving me goosebumps right now. It's such a good scene. One of the coolest action scenes in that movie, at least. I mean, they always have good action scenes in every Guardians of the Galaxy, by the way. There's kind of a reason why I keep throwing at how much good the other Guardians are and how they're all so good. It's like really good, like they're the best, and they're a trilogy. Don't want to say everything, but I don't know. I just think it was done very well. I can't see the list of pros and cons. Cons is way lower. Way lower. Way lower. I can't see you hating on this movie that much. I don't get it. I'd love to hear everyone's take about it. What do people think? At least it's labeled, this is an awful take on the bottom. You don't see that. But again, remember, these guys are the Escape podcast. I watch a lot of their videos, and I got no one to debate against, so I need to debate against someone or talk about agreeing with them or not agreeing with them. And they're one of my favorite groups to see and talk about. There are other guys that come and go on here as well, but some of these I'm just like, I gotta talk about this. Guardians 2, my babies. No, you can't do that. I think the biggest thing, again, closing it all out, it's just all the Guardians have one thing, and you can't take it away. No matter what you say, you'll never convince me. I don't know how you're not convinced that they have heart. They have so much heart. So much fun characters, so much high points, and then there's low points, and there's funny parts, and there's serious parts, there's sad parts. It's a legit real story. It's a space without the drama. It's a space drama, but with everything mixed in with it. And you just can't take away that, even from number 2. You can't take away the heart. You can't. There's too much heart in that movie. And if that's not your cup of tea, fine, then you don't like 1 and 3. I hate to say it. What are you going to tell me different? I can tell you Ego was better than High Evolutionary. High Evolutionary was crazy bad guy. He's not bad. He's not a bad guy. Character-wise, he's a bad guy. Character-wise, he's not a bad guy to use. He has nothing to do with Rocket's storyline in the comics or anything, but he worked. It's fine. He wasn't bad, but Ego was a little more of a threat than High Evolution. Just High Evolution just happened to us to close the chapter on Rocket's story, and it worked. But if you don't like Guardians 2, I really don't think you could appreciate 1 and 3. And that's really all I could leave it as, is I really think You can't, and that's unfair to tell you. But if that one in the middle doesn't do you justice compared to the first and the last, I don't know what else you wanted. Because it's almost the same vibes, just different story. And maybe you didn't like the story as much, but I try to put all the story elements out there, and they're heart-wrenching, there's joyful, there's cool action, there's enough comedy. What's wrong? You know? What is wrong? I don't know, you guys tell me. Is Guardians 2 just not as good as the Guardians 1 and 3, or just not a good MCU movie? These guys put on the bottom of their MCU list. On the bottom. I think we should hear that one more time. One more time.
Guardians 2 is the worst MCU movie.
Number 2. Volume 2 is the worst MCU movie. Remember that. People hate the internals, and some people give it a little bit of breathing room. But you're going to give Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 the bottom of your MCU? The bottom. People hate Dark World. Love and Thunder, people hate. But Guardians 2. Again, you guys decide what you guys think is it the weakest Guardians? Possibly. Is it a weak MCU movie? Or is it up there, they're all just good for different reasons? You can't decide. They're all like your kids. That's my point. It's hard for me to decide which one I like the best. One of them coming together, one in the middle being a family and dealing with heartbreak, and then the third finally dealing with an ending story and wrapping it all up and coming to terms with everything. You know, I don't want to get too much into number 3, but everyone kind of comes to their terms at the end of the movie of what they need to do and what they need to be. 2 is the middle of the journey. We got this at the beginning, the middle of the journey, and us ending their journey in number 3. So without 2, you can't enjoy 3, I feel like. And I think it makes 1 even better. So you tell me what you think. Is it on the bottom of the MCU list? Or is it an amazing movie like I think it is? Let me know.